immediately, but those deposits are accumulating, they are building, they are creating momentum that will eventually become unstoppable. Most people give up right before the breakthrough because they let their mood determine their actions. They have 3 good days, then 1 bad mood, and they quit. They have 2 good weeks, then they feel tired and they stop. They do not realize that the person who wins is not the person who never feels like quitting. The winner is the person who keeps going even when quitting feels like the most reasonable option in the world. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do, and that includes working when they do not feel like it. Let me break this down for you real simple. Unsuccessful people work when they feel inspired. Successful people work whether they feel inspired or not. Unsuccessful people go to the gym when they feel motivated. Successful people go to the gym because it is Tuesday and Tuesday is gym day. Unsuccessful people are kind to others when they are in a good mood. Successful people are kind to others because that is who they decided to be. You see the difference. One group lets its internal weather determine its actions. The other group decides who they are and what they do, and they stick to that decision regardless of how they feel. This is not complicated, but it is hard. It is hard because your brain is constantly trying to conserve energy and avoid discomfort. Your brain is going to give you very convincing reasons why you should skip today. It is going to tell you that you worked hard yesterday, so you deserve a break. It is going to remind you that you are tired. It is going to show you your comfortable bed or your comfortable couch and make it look really appealing. And if you listen to those voices, you will stay average forever. But here is what unsuccessful people do not understand. The work you do when you do not feel like it counts double. When you push through resistance, you are not just accomplishing the task. You are rewiring your brain. You are teaching yourself that you are the kind of person who keeps commitment. You are building an identity as someone who cannot be stopped by something as flimsy as a bad mood. Think about the most successful people you know or know about. You think they feel like working every single day. You think they wake up excited about every meeting, every workout, every difficult conversation they need to have. Of course not. They are human just like you. But what makes them different is that they do it anyway. They do it anyway. Those 3 words right there are worth more than 1,000 motivational quotes. I do not care how you feel. I do not care if you are tired. I do not care if you are scared. I do not care if you are unsure. Do it anyway. That is the whole secret. That is the entire game. When you adopt this mindset, everything changes. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop making excuses based on your emotional state. You just look at your plan, see what needs to be done next, and you do it. Simple, not easy, but simple. The plan you made when you were motivated must be executed when you are not. This right here is critical. Think about when you made your plan. Maybe you had just finished reading an inspiring book. Maybe you had just watched a powerful video. Maybe you had just experienced a moment of clarity where you could see your life as it could be instead of as it is. In that moment, you were thinking clearly. You were connected to your purpose. You were focused on your vision. That version of you, that motivated, clear thinking, purpose-driven version of you, that is who created your plan. That person knew what needed to be done. That person understood the stakes. That person was willing to commit to doing hard things because they could see why those hard things mattered. But here is what happens. Days pass. Weeks pass. That motivational fire starts to fade. You are back in the grind of daily life. You are tired from work. You are stressed about money. You are frustrated with setbacks. You are annoyed by obstacles. And in that state, you start to question the plan. You start to think maybe you were being unrealistic. Maybe you were asking too much of yourself. This is the critical moment. This is where most people abandon their dreams. They listen to their current unmotivated self instead of trusting their previous motivated self. They forget that the person who made the plan had the clarity they are currently lacking. They do not realize that this moment of doubt and fatigue is exactly why they needed a plan in the first place. Your plan is a message from your best self to your worst self. It is a message that says, I know there will be days when you do not feel like continuing. I know there will be times when you want to quit. I know you will doubt yourself. But I am writing this down now while I can think clearly to tell you to keep going. Do not trust your feelings in that moment. Trust me. Trust this plan. When you are in the valley, you cannot see the mountaintop. The view is blocked. The path is unclear. Everything looks difficult and pointless. But the plan was created from the mountaintop. It was created when you could see where you were going and why it mattered. So when you are in the valley, you do not need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next step that the plan tells you to take. This is an act of faith. Not religious faith necessarily, but faith in yourself. Faith that the version of you who made the plan knew what they were doing. Faith that your future self will thank you for pushing through. Faith that the process works even when you cannot see the results yet. Execute the plan. Trust the plan, especially when you do not feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you do not want to do it, especially when you do not want to do it. Discipline gets a bad reputation. People think discipline means being rigid or harsh or joyless. But discipline is actually freedom. Discipline is what frees you from being controlled by your emotions. Discipline is what frees you from the chaos of inconsistency. Discipline is what frees you to become who you are meant to be. Think about it like this. When you lack discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You eat whatever you crave. You buy whatever you want. You say whatever you feel. You avoid whatever makes you uncomfortable. That might feel like freedom, but it is actually bondage. You are being controlled by forces you are not even aware of. Your habits control you. Your cravings control you. Your fears control you. But when you develop discipline, you take back control. You decide what you eat based on your goals, not your cravings. You decide how you spend money based on your values, not your impulses. You decide what you say based on your character, not your emotions. You decide what you do based on your plan, not your comfort level. Now, let me be clear. Discipline is not about perfection. You are going to have moments when you slip up. You are going to have days when you do not follow through perfectly. That is being human. But discipline means that when you mess up, you get back on track quickly. You do not let one bad meal become a bad week. You do not let one missed workout become a missed month. You acknowledge the slip, learn from it, and immediately return to the plan. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it gets easier with practice. The first time you do something you do not want to do, it is hard, really hard. Your whole body is fighting you. Your mind is screaming at you to stop, but you do it anyway. And the next time it is still hard, but maybe slightly less hard. And the time after that, slightly less hard again. Eventually, discipline becomes a habit. It becomes part of who you are. You become the kind of person who does what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. And once you reach that point, you become unstoppable. No obstacle can permanently block you because you know how to push through resistance. This is how ordinary people create extraordinary results. They are not necessarily more talented. They are not necessarily smarter. They are not necessarily luckier, but they are more disciplined. They have trained themselves to keep moving when everyone else stops. And that discipline, practiced over months and years, creates a gap between them and everyone else that becomes impossible to close. Your emotions will always take the path of least resistance, but your dreams are on the difficult path. Your emotions are designed to keep you safe and comfortable. That is their job. Back when humans lived in caves and were worried about being eaten by predators, emotions that pushed you towards safety and away from risk kept you alive. Fear kept you from doing dangerous things. The desire for comfort kept you in the safety of the cave. These emotions served an important survival function. But here is the problem. We are not living in caves anymore. We are not running from predators. The things we are afraid of now are not actual threats to our survival. We are afraid of rejection, embarrassment, failure, and judgment. These things cannot kill you, but your emotional system treats them like they can. So your emotions are still trying to keep you safe and comfortable, even when safe and comfortable means staying stuck. Your dreams, on the other hand, require you to do uncomfortable things. Your dreams require you to risk rejection. Your dreams require you to try things you might fail at. Your dreams require you to be seen and possibly judged. Your dreams require you to leave the cave and venture into unknown territory. And every step of the way, your emotions are going to be pulling you back towards safety and comfort. This creates an internal conflict that you have to understand if you are going to achieve anything significant. One part of you wants to grow, achieve, and become more. Another part of you wants to stay safe, avoid pain, and remain comfortable. These two parts are at war, and whichever one you feed is the one that wins. When you follow your emotions and choose the path of least resistance, you are feeding the part of you that wants to stay small. You are reinforcing the neural pathways that tell your brain to avoid discomfort. You are training yourself to be controlled by fear and laziness. And the more you do this, the stronger those patterns become. But when you choose the difficult path, when you do the hard thing, even though your emotions are screaming at you to stop, you are feeding the part of you that wants to grow. You are creating new neural pathways. You are proving to yourself that you can handle discomfort. You are building evidence that you are capable of more than you thought. Here is the truth that nobody wants to hear. The path to your dreams is supposed to be difficult. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The difficulty is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. The difficulty is confirmation that you are on the right path. Easy paths lead to average destinations. Difficult paths lead to extraordinary destinations. Your emotions will always vote for easy. Your purpose requires you to choose the difficult. You must be the master of your emotions, not the servant of them. There is a relationship between you and your emotions, and you need to understand what that relationship is. Most people have made their emotions the master and themselves the servant. Their emotions tell them what to do, and they obey. Emotion says be angry, and they get angry. Emotion says be lazy, and they get lazy. Emotion says quit, and they quit. But it is supposed to be the other way around. You are supposed to be the master. Your emotions are supposed to serve you by providing information, but not by making decisions. When you feel angry, that emotion is giving you information that something feels unjust or threatening. But you get to decide how to respond to that information. You are in charge. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending you do not feel things. That is unhealthy and does not work. This is about acknowledging your emotions, understanding what they are trying to tell you, and then making a conscious choice about how to act. You can feel tired and still choose to work. You can feel afraid and still choose to move forward. You can feel discouraged and still choose to persist. The problem is that most people have never practiced this. They have spent their whole lives being obedient servants to their emotional state. So the idea of feeling something and not immediately acting on it feels foreign. It feels almost impossible. But it is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed with practice. Start small. Feel the urge to check your phone and choose to wait 5 minutes. Feel the craving for junk food and choose to drink water instead. Feel the desire to sleep in and choose to get up anyway. These small acts of mastery train your brain that you are in charge. You are not controlled by impulses. You are a person who makes conscious choices. As you practice this, something amazing happens. The emotions do not go away, but they lose their power over you. You can observe them without being controlled by them. You can feel fear and still take action. You can feel lazy and still be productive. You can feel doubtful and still stay committed. This is freedom. This is power. This is what separates people who control their lives from people whose lives control them. When you become the master of your emotions, you become the master of your destiny. because your destiny is not determined by what happens to you. Your destiny is determined by how you respond to what happens to you. And your response is always a choice, no matter how you feel. Your plan is designed by your highest self, but your mood is controlled by your weakest self. Think about who you are at your best. Think about those moments when you feel clear, focused, and aligned with your purpose. Maybe it is early in the morning before the world gets loud. Maybe it is after a great conversation that inspires you. Maybe it is in a quiet moment when you can reflect on what really matters. In those moments, you are operating as your highest self. Your highest self can see the big picture. Your highest self is connected to your values. Your highest self understands that temporary discomfort leads to lasting growth. Your highest self is willing to sacrifice comfort today for success tomorrow. Your highest self knows what you are capable of and is not afraid to demand excellence from you. When you create a plan from this state, that plan reflects the best of who you are. It reflects your potential, not your limitations. It reflects your vision, not your fears. It is a plan worthy of the person you are becoming, not just the person you are today. This plan is a gift from your highest self to guide you through the times when you are not operating at that level, but your mood on any random Tuesday afternoon when you are tired and stressed, that mood is not coming from your highest self. That mood is coming from your weakest self. Your weakest self is the part of you that wants to avoid discomfort at all costs. Your weakest self is focused only on the next few hours, not the next few years. Your weakest self is reactive, impulsive, and short-sighted. Your weakest self will give you very compelling reasons to abandon the plan. It will tell you that the plan was unrealistic. It will tell you that you deserve a break. It will tell you that you can start again tomorrow. It will tell you that maybe this just is not meant to be. And if you listen to your weakest self, you will make decisions that feel good in the moment, but destroy your future. This is why you cannot make important decisions based on your current mood. Your mood in any given moment might be influenced by how much sleep you got, what you ate for lunch, whether someone cut you off in traffic, or 100 other trivial factors that have nothing to do with your actual goals and values. Why would you let those random factors determine the direction of your life? Trust the plan. The plan came from the version of you that could think clearly. The plan came from the version of you that wanted the best for your future. When your weak self tries to negotiate, tries to make excuses, tries to take the easy path, you remind yourself that you already made this decision. You made it when you were thinking clearly, and the decision was to stick to the plan no matter how you feel. Feelings-based decisions create temporary results, but plan-based decisions create lasting transformation. When you make a decision based on how you feel in the moment, you get a result that lasts about as long as that feeling. You feel motivated on Monday, so you have a great workout. You feel tired on Tuesday, so you skip the workout. You feel inspired on Wednesday, so you eat healthily all day. You feel stressed on Thursday, so you eat an entire pizza. This creates a pattern of inconsistency that never leads anywhere meaningful. You might have moments of progress, but they are always followed by moments of regression. You take 2 steps forward when you feel good and 3 steps back when you feel bad. Over the course of weeks and months, you end up right where you started. Maybe you even end up worse off because now you have also lost confidence in your ability to follow through on anything. This is the trap that most people live in their entire lives. They are always starting over, always beginning new diets, new workout plans, new business ideas, new personal development programs. They start with enthusiasm, make some progress, then let their mood derail them, and end up back at square one. They never build momentum because momentum requires consistency, and feelings-based decisions cannot create consistency. But when you make decisions based on a plan, everything changes. The plan says you work out 5 days a week. So you work out 5 days a week regardless of how you feel. Some days the workout is great. Some days it is mediocre. But you do it week after week after week. And over time, your body starts to change. your strength increases, your endurance improves. You start to see real lasting results. The plan says you save a certain percentage of your income every month. So you save that percentage whether you feel like it or not. Some months you really want to spend that money on something fun. Some months it is easy to save, but you stick to the plan month after month after month. And over time you build wealth. You create financial security. You open up options for your future that were not available before. The plan says you work on your business for 2 hours every evening. So you work on your business for 2 hours every evening, whether you feel inspired or not. Some evenings, the work flows easily. Some evenings, every word is like pulling teeth. But you do it evening after evening after evening, and over time, your business grows.